Okay, so it's pretty clear by now that people are fleeing for the hills. Violence, protests, health concerns. It's just not sensible to live in big cities anymore, especially with people getting used to working from home, avoiding commutes, and appreciating the breath of fresh air that comes with limited crap like this. The suburbs are all the rage right now. You can get better schools, a bigger home, and far less crime, people. Suburbanites are the new jam. But which suburbs are the worst to move to? Like, which areas should you avoid? And alternatively, which suburbs are the best? We're going to answer those questions now. So join me on our amazing journey as we look at the worst suburbs you can live in America. And it won't be pretty. Can't you see all of the terrible suburbs in our fine nation? Living there, you should care. This will not be a vacation. That was a pretty fun little ditty, and a pretty fun way to travel too. But before we grab our umbrella and take off on our first stop, we need to first define what makes a bad suburb. For the analysis today, the data sets we used were job opportunities, a suburb's jobless rates and yearly income levels, crime, and proximity to a terrible place to live. Basically, the places that are poor, dangerous, and where there aren't a lot of places to work. I think we'd all agree these are a fair way to measure a bad place. And after looking at our final results, these metrics make sense. Let's take off on our journey. And we come down for a landing in our first worst suburb in America, West Memphis, Arkansas, which is clearly a suburb of Memphis, Tennessee, which is also a terrible place to live for the most part. If you have to live in the Memphis area, pick anywhere but West Memphis. If an 11% college graduation rate's a signal of a struggling community, then West Memphis is troubled. And I completely understand that a college degree is not always a sign of success, and there are plenty of hardworking folks who are successful and smart who didn't go to college, but when you measure some of the worst cities in America, these are also often the places with the lowest college-educated populations. So there's clearly a connection. So 11% of people didn't go to college in West Memphis, and 11% of the community is out of work. And the average income for a household here is only $30,000 a year, which is borderline poverty level. The city of 26,000 people is also the 10th most dangerous place in the nation, believe it or not, and has 2,000 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. That means you would have a 1 in 50 chance of being the victim yourself if you moved here. Not good. Not fun. Nearby Memphis is also a terrible, dangerous place. It's the nation's 4th most dangerous large city, so there's no relief here from the stupid, senseless crime. Finally, apparently, it smells bad here, and we didn't measure that, but apparently it's a thing, so let's hold our noses as we get out of here. Wow, this doesn't look very exciting. Where are we, some sort of rundown Alabama community? Yes, this is Bessemer, Alabama, a Birmingham suburb. This is actually the 2nd most dangerous place in the nation per capita. Bessemer is even more dangerous per capita than St. Louis and Detroit. The only other more dangerous place in the nation is Anniston, Alabama, which is way out in the sticks towards the Georgia border and not too far from here. But here in Bessemer, you have a 1 in 34 chance of being the victim of a violent crime, which is terrible. 1 in 3 folks lives in poverty here, where the average household makes about $23K a year. Now, this little city was once quite a place for mining and for making steel, but those industries left long, long ago. Hopefully, the new Amazon plant that opened here helps boost the local community. Average home prices here are about $84,000, but if you look, you can find stuff for as little as $25,000. A real fixer-upper, mister. Anyways, residents complain about trash lying all over the place, the gunshots, the vacant homes, and the lack of any real quality food beyond fast food. Our next city isn't too far away, so we can give the umbrella a rest. Plus, there's a tornado warning, so we should probably be careful. Here we are in Pritchard, Alabama, a Mobile suburb. 17% of Pritchardites are out of work, which is the highest rate in the state of Alabama. And you can't just blame the health crisis because it was 7% before that, which was by far the highest in the state. But is the place bad just because people are out of work? Sorta, especially when a majority of the community lives in poverty. Just Google Pritchard, Alabama and read the latest news headlines, and it's not good news. Nothing here about progress or new jobs or people doing good things. It's pretty sad, actually. Somebody was asked, how bad is Pritchard? And the most popular comment was, it's bad. real bad. Now, Pritchard was once a major shipbuilding hub, being so close to the Gulf. Then they stopped building ships, and white flight crept in, which began a population decline and this city's ultimate demise. Other factories have closed here too, places like Scott Paper Company and International Paper. In 1999, the city had filed for bankruptcy. Not a good place at all. Of course, lots of people have been moving to Florida for a long, long time, but there's a bunch of bad suburbs here too. One of them is Fort Pierce. Fort Pierce, Florida is a pretty lousy suburb. Located smack dab between both Orlando and Miami, the city of 45,000 people is located on Florida's Treasure Coast, named for the old Spanish shipwrecks just offshore. But this place is closer to a train wreck now. Unemployment rates are more than double the national average, but jobs are increasing slightly here, so that's good. It's a poor place, Fort Pierce is, and it's been called the worst place to live in Florida, but people will stand up and defend Fort Pierce, saying it has a cute downtown with historical buildings and a nice waterfront. But anything west of Route 1 and you need a bulletproof vest, and that's most of Fort Pierce. There's a reason why they call it Port Fierce, and a reason many people on Florida's East Coast call it a dump. But Fort Pierce is home to Edward Benny, co-founder of Crayola Crowns. That's fabulous!
It can make a lion and some elephants too. Then a funny monkey whose hat is pink and blue.
Crayola crayons come in this box of 64 different colors with a built-in sharpener.
Hee-haw, we're in the state of Texas. That's Galveston over there. And Houston isn't too far away either. We're landing in Texas City, Texas, our 6th worst suburb in the nation. And we can't color this place any shade that's going to make it any more desirable. The motto here is the city that would not die, but maybe it's time to let this city fade away? No, that's mean, but wow, this place is troubled. Now, this is a major port city and a major oil refinery hub, and it's great that there's plenty of energy jobs here, but Texas City has tried to diversify its economy by bringing in tourism and healthcare and other sectors, and it has not worked. It goes without saying that this place is horribly polluted, but I said it anyway to reinforce the point. You have a 1 in 29 chance of being the victim of a crime here. People earn about $22,000 a year, and home prices are about $98,000, and for Texas, that's super low. But hey, some good news here. Unlike other cities we talked about earlier, there's actually many positive stories coming out of Texas City. Stuff like people helping one another and doing good things, and a local ice cream shop named Hey Mikey's making lunches for people who need it.
I don't know why you're so focused on the negative. Why can't you just talk about good things?
I just did, Mappy.
There's people in these places that are trying.
All right, Mappy, get out of here. You're not helping today. Hey. Juan, anything you can add that's helpful?
No say.
No.
Okay, so the maps are all stupid today, so we're just going to move on without them. Hey, look out. Whoa, don't go over there. That's Mexico. Drift back over this way or we might never see you again. This is Socorro, Texas, an El Paso suburb. Since our definition of suburbs today was cities that have populations of 25,000 or more, this is likely a place you hadn't heard of before, but a third of the community is in poverty, and many backyard fences go right up against President Trump's new border wall, so you probably don't want to live here. It's mostly the economy and sheer boredom that make this such a terrible suburb for you to consider. In fact, you shouldn't consider this at all, and I'd be shocked if you chose to move to Texas and wound up here. I'd actually think you were quite nuts. After all, for fun, you're limited to a Mexican restaurant and a corn maze / pumpkin patch, which is only open for a few weeks. So we're limited to La Gorda Buena. Let's call him and see what Socorro is like. Hi there, my name is Nick and I'm doing a YouTube channel and I'm wondering what's there to do for fun in Socorro, Texas? Maybe I should call back and order a burrito. Hi, can I get 2 burritos with extra cheese?
No, I don't have burritos.
You don't have burritos? Who doesn't have burritos? You're a Mexican restaurant.
No, we don't have burritos.
Well, what?
Only gorditas.
Only gorditas?
It's the same, but circle.
No, a gordita and a burrito are not the same, honey. I'm sorry. Now, the rest of these suburbs are going to be places you have heard of. We began in Pontiac, Michigan, a Detroit suburb. Oh God, I'm hit. I'm going down. Uh-oh. This doesn't look very inviting. We're in trouble now, mister. Don't make eye contact. Before we get out of this dump, let's talk about Pontiac's issues. Pontiac, home to 60,000 people, is about 20 miles from Detroit, but shares most of its metro area's issues. A third of children live in poverty, which is just sad, and home prices here are low, like $39,000 and $29,000. There's one house for sale over $200,000 in the whole city. Oh wait, that's an auction asking price. Okay, so that doesn't even count. Anyways, Pontiac's been hit hard by automobile job losses to the point that they don't even have their own police department. And the city privatized everything from water treatment to garbage collection and street maintenance. The city is mostly employed by contractors and has shrunk its payroll from 600 to 50 people total. Crime is bad here, but you just wait till we get to the last three cities. Okay, so clearly we need to up our game because we just about got gatted in the last city, so we're more prepared now. Hopefully, this will help us for our next few stops. We're in East Chicago now, and this is getting serious. Clearly a Chicago suburb, and technically within the state of Indiana, this city is reminiscent of Chicago's infamous South Side in terms of crime and poverty. Back in the day, the steel industry was booming here, and everything was fine. But like other Rust Belt cities, that stopped. And now, East Chicago has developed a reputation as a rough, former industrial city plagued by extreme pollution, ethnic and racial tensions, organized crime, illegal gambling clubs, political corruption, shootings, drugs, and other things that make this a very, very bad place. Just like nearby Gary, Indiana. Now, Gary's about 2 exits away from East Chicago, and it's kind of hard to tell the two apart when you're driving around. But Gary's even worse when it comes to crime, blight, and communities that have been all but erased. Gary's actually tearing down old vacant neighborhoods, and for a while you could buy a home here for $1. This home is $9,000, and as you can see, it needs a little work inside and outside, and just wow. I mean, here in America, this is just crazy. Interested in touring this home? Contact agent, name, Nick Johnson. I'm interested in 2385 Washington Street. Am I nuts? Seriously, we could talk about how bad crime here is, and how bad the schools are, and how depressing this place is, but you can tell from the footage, it ain't pretty. Where's our worst suburb to live in the USA? East St. Louis is. Located just across the Mississippi River from St. Louis proper, this Illinois city is just plain downtrodden, people. Plagued by a loss of industrial jobs in the 60s and 70s, this city has lost close to 70% of its population. It's the most dangerous suburb per capita in the nation. There's 27,000 people here and nearly 5,000 violent incidents per 100,000 people, meaning here you have a 1 in 24 chance of being victimized this year. So if it ain't you, it's somebody you know. I mean, we could talk about the crime in East St. Louis forever, but that's its own video. But I will say crime here is an astounding 18 times the national average. Poverty rates are understandably sky high and rising, and that's very sad. Now, they've tried to fix this place, and nothing's really worked, and the latest plan is the Growing Small Business in East St. Louis Fund, which will give away $2 million in loans to small businesses to help create jobs and incentivize people to move there. But will this actually work? I mean, can you really give away money to small business owners to convince them to open up shop here? Will selling lots for $1 encourage people to actually move somewhere? Can the smaller suburbs we talked about lower their crime, and can people actually get jobs? Or are these places beyond repair? Anyways, if you're trying to move to Texas, to Florida, down to the deep south, or for some reason want to live outside of Chicago or Detroit, well, friends, there are far better places to choose from. It's time to depart. Our journey's over. We almost died. Off to more welcoming climes. But before we leave, let's briefly talk about the best suburbs you can live in America. The places that are the exact opposite of the ones we just talked about. These are those. And now some bad singing. Can't you see all of the terrible suburbs in our fine nation? Living there, you should care. This will not be a vacation. These suburbs are all not paradise. I don't recommend you do it. There are people here who knew it. but they live here all right through it. Goodbye.
It's the same, but circle.
No, a gordita and a burrito are not the same, honey. I'm sorry.
Okay?
Do you have tacos? Taquitos? Quesadillas?
No.
No. So all you have is gorditas. And that's all you sell? Okay, well, the restaurant should then be called La Gordita Buena, then. Okay. Okay, well, you have a good one, okay, sweetie? Take care. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also now buy my songs on iTunes and other formats. Click the link in the description. While we all might have different views, we should all be nice to each other and try to make the US a better place in a positive way.